That camera angle looks like it might be weird.
Yeah, I'll fix it. Don't. Oh. Don't. I'll get it.
It's very Hitchcockian right now.
It's April 1st already. How the fuck did that happen?
Man, is it me or did March fucking take forever to get through?
You're right. I didn't think about it till you mentioned it, but you did. Yeah, totally.
Is this like last March? Like even after we were halfway through it and we were told that we had to shut down everything, the last fucking 2 weeks were like the longest 2 weeks. And then this March, I turned to Liz and go, God, fucking March needs to get over with. God damn it. I don't know why it's so long.
Yeah.
Is it because February's so short?
Yeah, but I think it was long too because we worked.
Busy. Yeah.
We fucking worked.
I figured it would be quicker if we worked. You know, because time goes by more because you're busier than just sitting on the couch.
Maybe because I don't know. It's yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad it's over.
March was awesome. What are you talking about?
No. I mean, March was great. But it's just like, can we just? I just want to turn the page on the calendar. I want to see a new picture.
Yeah. All right.
Chad.
Yes.
Where are we?
I don't know.
It's just so weird to be in the same room together.
Very disoriented.
What episode is this, Chad?
I believe this is episode number 113.
That sounds about right.
We're back here at the Casa de la Devlin.
Yeah, let's put every language in there too. Put some Latin in there too. Amo amasamat. Amamasamatasamant.
We have not done the show in this classic format in months.
So why are we doing this?
I don't
really know.
Whose idea was this?
I know.
Make me put on pants and leave the house? Well, shorts. These are my Sunday shorts because they're holy. Look at me.
Yeah, well, you can't see what I'm wearing because mine are camouflage. Yeah.
It's good to be back.
So you got a matching mug. Your mug matches your shirt.
It's so strange.
How'd you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, so we wanted to look at tours. So kind of looking at the response from the last few shows, and people are getting vaccinated and people are coming out. Mm-hmm. Great turnouts. And so I guess the last we previewed/reviewed, if we previewed/reviewed our last couple of shows. So what do you think of Kima? So what do you think of?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we should revisit that. That felt kind of bad that we talked about salsa and we mentioned hot sauce in that episode before we knew we were going to meet Mark Corwin of Freedom Hot Sauce that Friday in Goliad. And so maybe we should touch on that a little bit because those guys were so cool.
Yeah. So what we did was this is only between you and us. Okay, don't tell anybody else. So what we did was last time we fibbed and we said that we had already played the shows. Just messing with ourselves, really. We were just trying to. So what do you think about the show? And everybody's going, well, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good show. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
And but we ended up on Friday. We ended up south of Goliad, actually, in a place called Who Cares. And we went out.
What's the name of that town?
Lord of the Flies.
They had a Lord of the Flies. Well, that part of town. Yeah.
Somebody made a Lord of the Flies joke while we were there.
But
too.
that little town that we stopped in had something. Name of the town, Mansion.
Oh,
like
that's right.
Historical mansion.
Burr something? Burr.
I thought it was Bell.
Fuck it. Who cares?
Burr.
Look at a map. Just look for the
Derek described it as a ghost town, which it definitely was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of things happening in there. I saw fire. And I think they were burning a witch. And nice little town. But gorgeous area. Just lots of land, lots of hunting, as we're driving up to where we were going to play to the area, we saw a couple of hogs running across the street, and it turns out it's just a couple of locals. So glad we didn't shoot them. We had a couple of there was a massive hog on a wench up, just upside down. They were skinning it as we arrived, and a rattlesnake about the length of the van. A huge thing. It was.
Yeah, I thought it was a python when I saw it. I was like, wait, do they have pythons in Texas? I guess they do. But it turned out it was a rattlesnake.
Big time hunters they were.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It reminded me of the great Doug Stanhope. It's all private property if you have a gun.
Yeah, which was the title.
They were better armed than most national armies. Than most He's just incredibly to the teeth. I mean, just, I was, I had to keep a couple of my smart comments to myself.
Yeah, that's probably better that way. I mean, they were nice enough.
But they were great.
Yeah.
Well, I've known Derek Sisson for a long time.
Very welcoming, yeah.
Yeah. And they told us, if you want to stay, you're more than welcome to. And it is one of those places where, so you pull up, I'll paint the picture for you. So close your eyes. And okay, now open them because I'm not going to paint it. So we drive up to this long driveway, and then you turn into this, everything's fenced off, and we drive in, and there's, I say it's beautiful out there, but it's just Texas, so it's kind of flat, but it's a lot of trees, a lot of you could just tell the area goes on forever. And we drive up, and there's a bunch of those big metal containers, those the ones that go on the back of the 18-wheelers, a bunch of those that I guess they store stuff in there. And then there's a bunch of these mobile home looking things that are kind of, encircled.
Definitely they circled the wagons and like a kind of weird, not courtyard, but like
courtyard, exactly.
like a meeting
with a bonfire in the middle, or a fire pit in the middle. And when they say you're welcome to anything, you're and anybody that knows Texas, very friendly, very giving, very, very generous. When they say you help yourself to anything, they mean anything, because they didn't bring their women. And you can go to any, just drink anything, have just cigars. They were whiskey, they were hot sauce. It was just, I mean, everything and anything was just, and so like I said previously, Derek had said, if you want, you guys are more than welcome to stay. And it's not a formality. I mean, it's a, my place, your place, whatever. So, and obviously we were playing Kima the next day, and we had a long drive home. It was 2.5 hours ish.
Mm-hmm,
close. And then, of course, Kima being how Kima's not that far. It's just full of traffic, and with the weather being as perfect as it was,
mm-hmm.
It's going to be so. Kima for our out of state friends, Kima is essentially it's an amusement park on the water but it's kind of a corporate owned. It is a corporate owned amusement park, so it's
very corporate.
Very corporate. I will say this. We'll get back to Goliath here in a second. The people that work down at Brent, our friend down at Kima. I mean, they work their ass off. It's hot. When the sun goes down, it was perfect, but during the day, it is sweltering.
Warm that day. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody smiles on their faces, and everybody I mean, they're working hard, and they are just nonstop. And it was packed. It was beyond packed. Every train that passed was capacity.
I'd never seen it that busy.
Yeah. But still, I just couldn't get over how, because, if you've ever been to Disneyland or Disney World, or, those people would as soon cut you as they would smile at you. Even Mickey Mouse, you could tell that he's under there ready to, cut a bitch. I mean, he's just not in a
Shanky Mouse.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's go back to with the Lord of the Flies. So we go in there, and like I said, everything was just laid out for us. I mean, just great stage, which essentially was a porch for one of these mobile homes, but it was high up, and it was just you could tell immediately you could do anything you want, you could say anything, you could play anything, you could do, and it was a 3-piece. It was just the three of us, and we just let it rip, and so people that know, people are in, and will be on this topic today too, but people that know live music will immediately think, oh, we need to put, and they put chairs out in front of us. But there's so much going on. Like I said, there was hand-rolled cigars. If anybody, and they told us too, they say, hey, we've, go over, help yourself. There was barbecue. There was alcohol, more alcohol, because Eric, you're Eric.
I'm Eric.
Derek. Eric with a D.
Right.
He makes whiskey, and sent us home with a bottle too, just, and so, I mean, everything is just have it. So when you show up at a place like that, you just want to, let it rip. Just go to town. We had a ball. I mean, it was just, but on that point where, somebody had taken the chairs and said, no, the band's playing, we need to sit and watch. But there's so much going on. You can't focus on, remember, there's a boar over, to our left. There's a rattlesnake. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But then there's the other groups of people. And these guys are from all over the country. There's ex-firefighters, ex-military, current firefighters. I mean, the people from all walks of life in there.
All Marines, I think. They're all.
Seems like they're all Marines. Yeah.
Yeah. This was. They're all members of the Sniper and Recon Foundation. So that's what the whole thing was, an annual, camp out they do.
Yeah.
It seems like guys were coming in that day too, so they all wanted to get together and say hello to their buddies that they hadn't seen for a while. And then about like halfway through the second set, I was looking over as we were playing. I could see guys bringing in their overnight bags, so I knew that they were getting kind of winding down for the night and getting ready for the next day, whatever they're going to do all day. I don't know what they were going to do. Just the hogs don't come out till nighttime usually. But
So if we play a house party, or if we play an event that's not a music venue, it's something that's which it's old hat for us now to go and play these things. I don't ever expect, and I know we don't expect, people to stand there or to be confined to the front of wherever we're playing and sit and dance or sit and watch or dance or what. We don't need to have, if they want us down there. Derek knows what we did. We had seen Derek on Paddy's Day at Pimlico, which also was a tremendous turnout and great day. So we had seen him there, and that's when he had talked to us. We were setting up, and it was a funny story, side story. Derek was talking to me as we were setting up, and he had spoken about this gathering that they were doing, and would we come down? And I'm in my head, it's Paddy's Day, we're getting ready to play, so I'm listening, but I'm not. I'm not internalizing anything that's happening. Right. So. When all was said and done, I had committed to doing this show, which I had completely forgotten about by the time we hit the first note on Paddy's Day. So, but luckily, Derek can do more than one thing at a time. So he had remembered. But it was we don't need to have everybody jumping around and that's what we know what we're doing. We know it's going to sound good, and that's what the great thing about this gathering was. They enjoyed the music wherever they were. You can't escape us. We're loud.
Right. They didn't have to stand or sit in front of the stage to enjoy it.
Yeah. And we enjoyed playing, knowing that it's kind of what they want to hear, and we personalized the gig enough during the songs, like switching words, we entertain and we do our thing, and they have a good time, and there's so I have all respect for these guys. They love what they do, and they that they're in my estimation, they didn't need a live band there at all, because they're just, these guys are, every single one of them.
Oh yeah.
Has so much information and so much, they can entertain themselves. But Derek said live, and it went over extremely well. They raffled off a guitar signed by Willie Nelson, and Derek goes, "All right, we'll start the bidding at 300. Can I get 400?" Guy go, 2,000.
It was.
Whoa. I was like,
it escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Do you remember where it wound up?
Huh?
It was several thousand when they were done. Right?
22. Was it 22?
25, maybe.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept going like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
9. It just kept going up.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, and he did, and Derek, of course, in his infinite generosity, he was, I think he was, how many was he offering off a barrel? He auctioned off a barrel of his whiskey, his bourbon.
Oh yeah,
and that thing went. Again, like I said, these guys are they're all heart, and they're
It was fascinating to see that. I'm not a hunter.
No way.
And I don't really know much about it, but it was fascinating to see because they asked, Derek asked us to wait to start playing until these kids came in. There was some of the Marines were off doing a hunt. They're hunting wild boar, 2 of which we saw on the drive-in. And they came in and they got the rattlesnake and this boar. So they while we were playing, they strung up the boar while we were playing, and it was just funny to see how just fascinated. Derek mentioned that some of these guys had never seen this done before. A catch being skinned and gutted and all that stuff or whatever they were doing. But I kept looking over as we were playing and going, okay. There was only so much I could watch, but it was But it was, like Derek was saying, that's especially the farmers and the people who live out there. It's a constant war that goes on between wild boar and the people who own that land.
Don't Duran Duran have a song called Wild Boar?
The what?
Well, Wild Boys. But there is, and for those that don't know, these boars, they destroy the landscape. They're good for nothing. So they're like, like you said, the hatred is just immeasurable because they do nothing but ruin every place that they live.
Well, that's one of the things I press because I know that there's that disdain that they have for the creatures, but they didn't just kill it and toss it away. They were using it. They were stripping it down to make use of it, which I thought was, all right, that's cool.
Well, yeah, I asked Derek about that. I go, y'all just shoot him and leave him because, he's like, no, he's like the little ones, the smaller ones we shoot and leave, but the bigger ones, they donate the meat to various food banks in the area that they can turn into, food to feed the homeless or whatever they do with it, or turn it into people make it into sausage or whatever like that. So at least they are using what they can from the wild boar. Yeah,
and they're dangerous too.
Fucking that story he told about that guy getting killed. Holy shit!
Yeah,
that was freaky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we met Mark Corwin, who is the owner of Freedom Hot Sauce, who gave us 3 different varieties. There was the wing sauce, jalapeno hot sauce, and habanero.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to try
all of them? Yeah, I've tried all of them.
Awesome.
They're excellent. They're not spicy. Like I said, I don't eat to compete. I don't want to. The ghost pepper and the stuff like that. I like ghost peppers. I like very, very spicy, but I don't eat it to make to make blood come out of your ears. I eat because I love spice and I love so again, these are not spicy, like make you sweat hot sauces, but they're very flavorful. And I don't care if it's, I don't like mild, like, you go into a Mexican restaurant and they sit down, they give you and it's essentially like dipping your chips in water, it's just, you can't taste. But if it's got any kind of flavor to it, that's good, but I don't have to cry every time.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's the key. That's the key to a great hot sauce, is not just having it be incendiary, but actually have a flavor that's not just like, that doesn't taste like burning.
Yeah. Incendiary. Like, that's a great word.
Well, it's dumb. It's like Patrick said. It's like you're in a competition to eat the hottest thing ever. What's the point?
Yeah,
if it doesn't taste good, there's no point in eating anything.
No, I know. You can't. After a while, you can't taste it. We may have told the story on the show.
We did tell the story before, but just so you know, I was sitting across the table when Chad decided to go for the danger zone in Kansas City. Was it Kansas City?
Yeah, I think it was Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah. So we were sitting there, and I think you had texted Mike because Danger Zone is Mike Macaroon's. That's his theme song.
Yeah.
Anytime you see him, just hum it. So there you go. So he called here, and Mike said, "Yeah, go for it." So I'm sitting across the table and I don't. You probably can't tell, but on the picture, Chad just looked like a supermodel. But when he had about 2 or 3 bites of this burger, the Danger Zone, the coloring turned to the the logo on the mug about that red. I mean, and the sweat starts and the thing. But I remember halfway through it, you're like, well, and Chad doesn't eat slow. Chad can, a burger about that big, that's about 2 or 3 bites for Chad.
Yeah,
That's a
generally,
good
if I'm not
fourth,
talking or trying to explain something, it goes down very, very quickly.
Very fast. So he starts eating it, and by the third large bite, and actually I have to say, though, he did take smaller bites than this. He was a little cautious at first. But watching the skin pigment go from from smally to smolder, it was just, I mean, it was and then you had you quipped halfway through, it's, I can't taste it. I just can't.
I was determined, like a saner man would have thrown in the towel, about halfway through it, like, okay, you win, burger. You kicked my ass. But I was like, I'm gonna fucking eat this. By that point, I was just numb. I couldn't feel anything.
and he was not his usual
effervescent self.
Effervescent. No, he kind of been talking like that. So there was a lot of sign language that day.
Yeah. So I finished the damn thing, and it was. I remember at the beginning of the burger when I actually could still taste it. It was actually really good, but that faded away with every bite I took. But
the brain is supposed to kick in the endorphins to fight the pain, hence the
But I'm kind of perversely proud of that. I don't think I'd do it again, because like you say, I mean, what's the point if you can't taste anything? After a certain point, it just becomes masochistic. If
it tastes really good and it's making you, I've had that hot sauce too, where you just sweat and you're burning, but it still tastes good. I like that. And yes, I'll go for it again and again and again, but I don't want it to numb the,
like the habanero at Cabo.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, and it kicks you, but it doesn't obliterate, the flavor profile.
No, and you taste it the whole way through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great time at the thing. And then Kima the next day. That was really, really fun. And I'm not going to say this again. Yes. But Laurie and Chris, they got rid of everything. So we have, I guess by the time you hear this, we'll have already played Cork and Barrel and Round Rock and Continental Club, reopening the Continental Club.
Yay.
But thanks to Laurie and Chris, we have next to nothing left. They have just cleaned us out. And like I said, Kima was extremely warm, just because it's all concrete where we play, and it's been cooking in the sun all day. And it's on the water, which is great, but where we are, there's not a they set it up to where the bands can play without your stuff being blown over and stuff, because there's not. But you walk away 100 feet and you can find that breeze from the ocean, but not where we are. And Laurie and Chris set up and they just got. I didn't see it. That was the thing. So as we were playing, I didn't see anybody going over to Laurie and Chris. So when at the end of the day, she goes, "Oh yeah, we got rid of all this and this, all this is gone." And I was like, "How did that happen?" Because we're usually I'm pretty, but so just and then after everything's done, you blink and Chris has got everything packed up, all our gear. I was like, wait a minute,
the boy gets wound up and
but so our deepest thanks to Laurie and Chris for
Oh, you mentioned Brett, who runs the turkey stand, as he called it. But that's the food booth that sells turkey legs and popcorn and chips and stuff like that.
Line all day.
Did not stop the entire time we were there. But I finally, at one point I think it was right before our last set, I finally had some time to go when the lines were a little less intimidating. I stood in line and got some popcorn. And I think it was the same guy that I bought stuff from last time we were there. He's just everybody who works back there is just in such a good mood and so well adjusted to it. Like, it's not easy because it's basically a nonstop lunch rush, So I've worked in food service before. I know how fucking stressful that can be. But yeah, I was impressed with that whole operation. But Brett loaned us this dolly that he had. Just happened to have it right by the storage room, right by where the van was parked. Said, "Hey, will you find this useful?"
Super helpful.
Yes. Saved us 10 trips.
Yeah.
Like right when we needed it again at the end of the day, he was there again. You need it? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, well, that's a great operation down there, and the like I said, the people working should not be as happy as they were, but heroin's good for you.
Yeah.
Kemah seems more like a meth town to me.
That really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little.
Or maybe Oxy.
Now
Maybe Oxy.
I'll meet you in the middle.
It was at once exhilarating and kind of unnerving. Like most of. I mean, I'm not worried about getting sick anymore. I think all of us are pretty much fully vaccinated.
Fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
Fully vaccinated. I'll be totally legit next Thursday.
Yeah.
Too legit to quit.
Patrick and I just had our second shot this week. I had mine yesterday. Yours on Tuesday.
I don't know what day it was yet.
Yeah, it was recently. But and Patrick and I already had the virus. I'm not really worried about getting sick or spreading it because I know I can't. Or at least they tell us we can't. But it's. I know that not everybody's vaccinated yet. And not everybody's had it, and there was probably about 50-50 there. People wearing masks. There was no social distancing going on
At the
in the
Kemah?
lines and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was. It worries me because I'm glad that things are starting to get back to normal, but I keep hearing these murmurs of like, we may be headed for another piece of bad news or something. And our friend Dr. Kevin in Galveston was like, I don't think we're out of this yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, the thing is, we've discussed this before the camera started rolling today, even. But the thing is, we have to still treat it. So whether you believe this stuff or not, I've talked to the people we've all talked to the people that know better than the doctors and that know better than the professionals. They know better because that they feel it in their heart that you're wrong, you doctors are wrong, and you're trying to whatever. So we've talked to those people. We've also talked. So the thing is too is if you give a fuck about anybody besides yourself, then maybe just for a second, for a little while longer, put the fucking mask on. You look better with it on anyway. You do. There's just not fucking many people that don't. Just put the fucking mask on. Put it over your nose and your mouth. Just do it for a couple more weeks and get out of this thing, and we'll be able to do. So, so the people that don't believe in it and the people that are you still don't need to believe in it. But I'm just, we're just asking to just help out a little bit. Just, if you and again, I use the correlation of people say, wow, I can't believe that they kill each other over religion in, these parts of the world. So, well, yeah, that's even more of a closely held belief than your fucking mask or your scamdemic or your plandemic or whatever
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a blip on the radar. These people that go to war over religion because your God is fake and ours is real, so you must die. That's the same fucking thing as these.
It's just as absurd.
Yeah, I don't believe Dr. Fauci, or I don't believe whoever's on whatever politician's on there telling you one way or another, so I'm going to go, yeah, it's a piece of cloth over your fucking face for a minute. Let's just, let's get out of this and just go, I just fucking hate it. Anyway, so.
I joked a long time ago that somebody, they behave as if they're being asked to wear something embarrassing like a tutu or
That's not embarrassing.
Well,
Eric, get the tutu.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just like you're expected to wear pants in public. Does anybody act like they're put out about wearing, being clothed?
Somebody told me that they were going to wear a Speedo to the next Kemah show and sit in the middle of the fountain.
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. During the breaks.
Oh, during the breaks?
Yeah. Not during the show.
Day.
No, I got to play. I got to work.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
But during the breaks, why not? So out there with a chair, easy chair, a cocktail.
Yeah.
Sun hat.
So we're back July 2nd at Kemah Boardwalk. There's a couple of things. That many. Is if people want to come to that show, what I would do different this time is we didn't know last time is I would get there a little bit before showtime. In that, and this is going to be an evening show as well. So we had to get down there early because we were running sound for the dancers and whatnot. But I would, in my infinite wisdom now, I would park over by our friends over at T-Bone Tom and walk over to the Kemah Boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're in and out in no time because the traffic there's.
Oh, it's so bad. Yeah.
The second thing I would do is I would drink a lot. I would drink a lot because I came back there. I was really sober and I was just kind of regretting the fact that I didn't drink a lot. But I think that if you're coming to see us in Kemah, you should really throw down and drink a lot because the drive home on 45, these little cocksuckers on the little rice burners or those little crotch rockets racing on 45. We're doing 80, 85 on the way, just keeping up with traffic, right? And don't drive in the left-hand lane, you prick. Leave that for passing. But anyway, so these guys, Texas, they don't listen to, they don't care about the left lane. That's just another lane for us to sit in or do 40, whatever mile, whatever speed but then, so we're driving home, we're keeping up with traffic, in the, second to left or third to left lane, 80, 85. And these motherfuckers are passing us like lasers. And what cracks me up is the ones that actually use their turn signal. They just zip in front of your car and the car even flinches because they're just about to hit you, but they signal.
Yeah.
It's like, are you just trying to,
as they're crossing the line?
Yeah. Yeah. But it just cracks me up. It's like, what? And it's going to, maybe they want to die with their signal on,
just to prove it.
Yeah.
See, I have my turn signal on, officer.
Yeah. So drink a lot. So we'll maybe wipe some of these pricks out on the way home.
Yeah.
You remember this is a completely different context. It reminds me of the first time that we did the Ireland tour with Keith Williams as the driver.
Yeah.
Back in 2013 or something like that. Keith from Tipperary, right? I never heard him say this again, but that first time we were with him, he was giving some advice about drinking. He's like, if you're going to drink, folks, you've got to do it, do it intelligently. You've got to do it every, he was basically saying, if you're going to drink, you got to keep drinking every day. Like don't skip a day, So, and I'm not sure, it had something to do with keeping your hangovers from getting too intense. I think it was a little hair of the dog philosophy, I think. But I found that really interesting. I never heard him say that again, but I never heard any other, because we've only had two drivers on these tours. But do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't remember that, but I do remember him saying that he doesn't like to drink. He doesn't like to have one drink a night. He likes to drink all night.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's going to drink, there's going to be no driving. There's going to be nothing going on the next day. And, so he can't have, come out to a show and have one drink with us and then go back to the hotel. He wants to make a night of it.
Yeah.
So, but his story too of when he used to deliver beer to the pubs, it was custom back then. There was no DUI or DWI. There's none of that stuff back then. So it's custom for the bartender, the bar owner, to buy you a pint or to give you a pint when you show up with the thing. So if he had 10 stops, 15 stops in a night, he had 15 pints down him, sometimes more, before he got to go home.
Yeah.
And this is drinking while you're driving a truck full of kegs. So he'd have this, so I mean, he told us a story about, he just doesn't remember coming home some nights. And so the stories are fantastic. They're well worth, but I mean, my head hurt by the time I heard these stories. So yeah, this,
But am I right? Is that basically what he was saying? Like, if you're going to drink, like,
I don't recall that part.
Yeah.
That could
basically don't
be
skip
you,
a night. Yeah.
Yeah. That could be you thinking this is positive reinforcement.
When I think that was the only, that first time we worked with him that year was the last time, because they instituted that rule after that where the drivers weren't allowed to drink at all.
Yeah.
Unless they had it the next day off, I guess. They weren't, as long as they had to drive the next day, they weren't allowed to drink anything the day before, I think is what the rule was. But that first time we were there, he did come out, and I remember having a pint of Murphy's with him in Cork. And of course, Tom
O'Toole.
Yeah, Tom O'Toole, who was our first driver, did drink with us too. But now, of course, they're not allowed to do that anymore. But it's kind of a shame. It was fun. Hanging out with both of them was really fun. Tom especially was really into talking about the music we were playing and stuff. Actually got up and sang sang with us a couple of times.
Well, there you
go. So we're going to be, we will have played at Continental Club by the time the show comes out.
By the time this airs.
We already talked about that.
Reopening on Thursday, the 1st of April.
Yeah.
Which was last week.
So if you're going to go, and again, talking about the mask thing, if you're going to go, just wear the damn mask and go and support these clubs, because a lot of them, this is the only way they're going to be able to do business right now. And all the shows at Continental Club are outside only.
Outside only.
As far as this goes, so you don't believe that the mask does any good, and you know better than that. That's fine, but think of the people that have to work in public. Essentially, the bands and the wait staff and the bar staff, and they have to deal with all these people. So you don't believe that's fine. So don't wear a mask, but stay away from them. If you want to help, then you put the mask on and you go out and you just follow the rules, just like you would, if you get pulled over and you don't want your seatbelt on. You can. That's your right not to wear it, but I guarantee you're getting a ticket. This is not the same in that you're not getting a ticket for it, but you are essentially. We've all lost somebody from this, whether you believe that or not. Whether you've, so you gotta help out these people that have. That have to deal with. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you wear the mask in. So yes, the Continental Club is in the back patio, which means to open air, which is great for everybody. That makes people feel more comfortable. That actually do believe in this thing. Mm-hmm. But you wear your mask to walk in. You sit down. You take your mask off. How long does that take? 3 minutes?
Yeah.
2 minutes? What the fuck does it matter?
Literally not a big deal.
How does that affect someone's day to the point where they don't want to go to a show because they're so mad about wearing a mask, literally from the point of entry to the point of sitting down? Mm-hmm. That kind of mentality is just, it makes me want to,
And it's all about, I mean, at this point, really, it's about keeping everybody safe. But Pete Gordon, I know, his main priority with doing business or starting to do business again, he wants to keep his people safe, and a lot of these.
And Pete hasn't been open since this thing.
Yeah. And he
could have started.
One year,
and because he wanted to do it right, he wanted to do it safe. He wanted to listen to, what Lena Hidalgo was saying. He wanted to listen to what the mayor was saying, and he did try to open by the rules, and the city said no. You have to. The city kind of fucked him over, so he's like, well, I'm going to wait then still.
Yeah.
And now he's got a chance to open up the correct way.
Yeah,
and do it right, and so why not support that?
Yeah, and people have said to us, we're so glad you're back working. Well, we can only work if you, just follow the rules.
Yeah.
Do I want to wear a mask? No.
Nobody wants to wear a mask.
And except Batman.
It's more of a cowl, because it covers the top part.
So, if you're on board with clubs reopening and people getting to go back to work and whatnot, then follow the rules. If you're not, well then just
fuck you.
Yeah.
You can't.
Go away.
Yeah. And I can't believe it's a year later and we're still fucking talking about this.
I know.
Yeah.
Because people are assholes.
So we will have played for the first time, Cork and Barrel in Round Rock.
North Austin.
So we've been looking forward to this for a long time. It's just kind of funny that we heard about it because I think they contacted you, right?
Yeah.
After that, people were saying, "Hey, you should play Cork and Barrel. Have you heard about Cork and Barrel?" Like, yeah, we were already talking to them. So now we finally got this nailed down. So I'm very much looking forward to this show, which has already happened for you people at home.
We'll preview it.
Yeah, next week.
I think it's called a review then.
Might be.
Yeah. Well, the club. From what I heard, is packed 7 nights a week. So Round Rock was in dire need of a live music venue, and apparently the food's great, and I know where it is. I've driven past it, and it's right by the golf course, the country club, all that stuff. So it's not short of punters. Yeah. Around there, so it's going to be. We're excited.
They're not messing around with the talent bookings. I mean, Dale Watson was there last Saturday.
Who's that?
But I think they've had some other name people on their calendar there too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna book a band, it's really the same thing with gear. I was thinking about this the other day. I've been going through my stuff. When you buy the cheap guitar, when you buy the
like a part-time professional would.
Exactly.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So if you buy the it's gonna like right now people you can't really get bad guitars in that it's the cost of guitars have gone down tremendously in not the collector stuff, but it's just buying stuff off the shelf is you can get really decent stuff now for a very, very low price. However, if you get a really good guitar and you that guitar is kind of ready to go and you don't have to do much to it, you just set it up and you go. But if you get a no name, it might sound good, but you're going to end up replacing the machine heads. You're going to end up replacing the electronics and stuff and you end up spending nearly the same amount of money, or So it's the same thing when you get when you work in live music. You can get the guys that sit on the couch, 3 weeks out of the month, and then they play that one Friday night, and a lot of people will come out. A lot of their friends will come out and see them. However, if they do that in all the clubs around that zip code or close to it, the numbers go down. The number of people that come out to see them. It's the same thing. If they get the guy that sings Brown Eyed Girl, 3 times a night, pretending it's requested, that's going to push the people out there. Pete Gordon, Dazzling Pete Gray from Continental Club, they did that. I opened that place. When they started out, they didn't go for the duo and the people that have been playing they went and they got national acts in there. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you want your punters to trust your product. You want them to, whether you've heard of them or not. I remember the first night they had Hercules, Sons of Hercules out of Austin come in and open and I'd never heard of these guys, but they're a professional garage band. In that they just came out and they just did kind of Ramones style rock and roll, just from the throat, from the heart, just powerful. And I'd never seen these guys before, but that was a great opener. It told you that the club is not going to be jazz on Monday, and we're going to do flamenco on Tuesday, and then reggae on there, and then rock on there. We're going to do everything. You don't build trust that way. You build trust by consistency, by saying so. Cork and Barrel, if they go out and get if you open an Irish pub and you try to do Irish music 7 nights a week, unless it's traditional 7 nights a week with one night, you're not going to get. I don't know any town that has. Well, maybe Philly, or maybe maybe there's maybe a few exceptions, but I just don't know of many places that can hold the public's attention for Irish music 7 nights a week. Raglan Road, of course, Jeff Duncan was saying that he was just there. That's different because that's a Disney thing. So they want that traditional, or Rira in Las Vegas where we play. I mean, they can get away with Irish music 7 nights a week because it's a tourist trap. But I'm talking about punters in an Irish pub, So yes, I went far afield. I went way out in that one. But basically, if you're gonna deal in live music, then you got to deal in professionals. You can't do the You can't do the
guys that take their Marshall amps out once a month and call it a gig. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Marshall amps, great amps.
Yeah.
Diamond amps, wonderful.
John Marshall, what a guy.
Friedman.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Do
I want to carry one up the stairs? No. Not anymore.
Well, not with the schedule that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Ways of time.
And I tell you something, the clubs don't want it either. If you're going into a place, a lot of these places don't have live music 7 nights a week. So you get these guys rolling in a big bass rig, big drum kit, big guitar rig, big whatever, and then there's monitors on the stage. This is noise coming from every direction, and then they've got to put that sound out to something that's palatable for the people in be it the restaurant or the bar or the thing. That's a lot of noise coming off there. If you do the in-ear, if you do the in-ear and you do the direct stuff, yeah, I understand that the purists that don't carry their own shit, that don't carry their own PA and lights and all that stuff, those guys, yeah, they won't like it. But you know what? I don't give a fuck what they like. Yeah. I like to work 7 nights a week.
Yeah, there's something to be said for actually being able to hear what you're playing. Not going home with every single fucking night. So I've been through that. I've had enough of it. So yeah, it was like when I went in to buy when we started using the inners early last year. Can't be crazy to think it wasn't that long ago. And I went into Guitar Center to buy the Shure, the actual earbud portion of it. And the guy who sold it to me says, "This is going to change your life." Just total game changer, because he was a regular gigger too. I think he was played in a church band or something like that. So it was regular, somebody who plays every single week. And he was right. And you do have to learn how to what
Church musicians.
It's just Eric used to play in church.
Oh yeah.
Once a week, no load in. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Train your God.
That's true.
Yeah,
but it's a good gig if you can get it, I guess.
Yeah,
and a lot of those guys are really good musicians. I've seen.
Yeah.
And Jesus signs your check.
Yeah. Jesus signs the check.
But in-ears can be very disorienting at first, especially if they're not dialed in properly, as I learned. They got to be in there the right way, especially if you're playing bass. I discovered that the hard way too. The very first when we did the not Paddy's Day proper, but when we played the weekend before Paddy's Day last year, right before the shutdowns, was the first full day that I was using these things, and I was playing around with the different sizes of the earbuds, thinking, okay, well, try a smaller one so I can get it in there further. Big mistake, because if I learned that day, I learned that I have to use the biggest one that can get the tightest fit.
Hey now,
because if I don't, the bass frequencies just disappear.
Yeah, that's true.
And I had to play a whole set like that because there was no time for me to go and switch it back out. So I was like, God, that sucks. So it can be really, really wonderful when it's dialed in properly and you're wearing them properly. But if you don't, the first couple of times you use them might be kind of weird and disorienting. But
yep.
I don't know why I'm talking about it.
It's true. No, you're absolutely right. The first time I wore mine, it was weird because the sound was right here. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like everywhere else where it normally is.
Yeah.
And it took a few minutes to get used to it, and then it was just like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. You can control the volume, you can control, everything about it.
The only thing I don't like about it really is that you can't, like, people come up, you can't really hear much of the room, so much. And if somebody comes up and asks for like a request or something.
Well, they do. They'll shout from the audience, and I've just there's no way to hear what they're saying. There is a way. People say, what you do is you set up a mic for that. I said, no, I don't. No, if you're going to see a live band, or just drive through Popeyes next time and say, hey, I would like a cheesecake. Can you make a cheese? Or go to McDonald's and say, I would like a fresh, spinach salad with, see what you get. No, if you're hired by the club to play. Now, if the club is a country and western club and they hire a death metal act, there's going to be problem that night. If you go up to let's go back to the Disney, to the Irish pub in the Disney, on Disney property, and you say, hey, I'd like to hear, a little Rain and Blood, can you,
right.
You're not going to hear that. You're just not going to get, because the club knows what they need for their punters. We know what we're going to do. People come up with, I want to dance. I go, yeah, you either learn how to dance to what we're playing, or you go to a dance club, because we don't know, nor do we want to know.
Yeah.
I will say that some of the songs that we're doing now, we've changed up the beats on stuff like that, and it is funny to watch. We've talked about this before too, but it's funny to watch people dancing to these old war, these songs of war and loss and stuff, but it it's kind of groovy, and it's kind of I remember the first time we started working with James Edwards, we had James had just naturally slowed these songs down, and we go from you know to and it did make it a lot more bouncy and groovy, and you know, but the people that have been coming to see us were like, no, we want you know, we want the
Right.
It was also the same time that we briefly switched back to doing the 6/8 bridge in Suspicious Minds, because that's how we wanted to do it from the beginning. We just didn't have a drummer who could play the 6/8 properly. And I don't know. It was the reason why it wound up being reggae was because the guy we're working with at the time was pretty good at doing reggae. Not so good at playing 6/8, apparently.
So it wasn't that it was good reggae.
No, I'm not saying he was an expert at it, but we'd heard him playing reggae beats before when he was screwing around. So it's like, let's just try that. So James, we actually did the whole, played it, you know, just like the record, not just like the record, but you know, we did the bridge the way
we Vegasized it.
You know, and people were like, "What the fuck is this? Bring the reggae back!" God damn it!
But again, I remember the place in right by Davy Bryan in Lake Worth, Bamboo Room. I remember we were booked in this really cool. It's gone now, of course, but we were booked in this club. The guy had heard Suspicious Minds, said, "I want that band." He booked us on that song because of the reggae break. So wasn't all again. The I love that gaudy, glitzy Vegas style. You know, I love that pompous, you know, over the top stuff. But at that, you know, when you do something and you know, stumble onto something being, you know, that it's an attention getter for sure.
Yeah,
It's unexpected.
It was one of many examples of how our arrangements have been shaped by the practicality of who we're working with at the time and what they're comfortable doing.
Yeah.
The Prison Love Songs, which was very early on, that Patrick had the idea to blend Folsom Prison Blues with Fields of Athenry. And initially, it was going to go from the solo. You said, okay, Turi, you're going to play this solo. It was going to be an E first. We're going to do the solo, and then we'd transition to G for that. And Turi was like, this is hard to play this in E on the fiddle. He said, well, do it in G. Just immediately jumped on it. And then that was like a revelation when the solo hits on that key change. That's one of the things that makes that whole medley so powerful, I think. And the whole reason why, like Black and Tans, which we mentioned before, we used to do it all in C. We used to work with a fiddle player who had a really hard time playing in C. So it starts off in C and then it goes to D. We decided we liked it better in D, so that's where it's remained ever since. It's just strange things like that how things work sometimes.
The more you know.
Yeah.
So you've been reading a book.
I read a book.
You finished reading it in a couple of days?
Iron Man by Tony Iommi, the lead guitar player and one of the founders of the band Black Sabbath, which we're all big fans of. Almost all incarnations. Super easy read. It read a lot like Kenny Jones's book, the drummer for the Who, or the drummer for the Faces, and then the Who. Just like this happened, and then this happened, and this happened, and this happened. So it was good. That boy did a lot of drugs. I mean, a lot of drugs. Like even up into like the 2010s, he was still doing cocaine almost every day.
Wow.
Yeah, at least that's what he said. Yeah, crazy.
It's interesting. He kind of strikes. He's so, at least in interviews, he seems like the most down to earth and soft spoken of the guys. Well, Geezer is too, I guess. But he just didn't seem like. I wouldn't have pegged him for a partier, you know, as somebody.
Yeah. So from what I understand from this book is that he loved the practical joke. He was the king, like that band. They were the kings of the practical joke. And for the longest time, Bill Ward, the drummer, was the recipient of like, you know, just
where he
constantly set him on fire, just constantly not being picked on, but like physical jokes that they thought was funny. I read some of these things. I was like, if you did that to me, I'd fucking kill you, you know, kind of a thing, you know, just that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
But, you know, interesting history about the band. And all the incarnations, and just how like everything was like, okay, this person quit. Who's next? Okay, come here, kind of a thing. Like it just seemed like it was so automatic with him to keep creating music with whoever was around at the time. So like then it was Glenn Hughes, then it was Tony Martin, then okay, now it's Ronnie James Dio. Now we're back to Ozzy, just like turning on a dime. Like, okay, Eric Singer's gonna play drums. Now Bobby Rondinelli's gonna play drums. Mm-hmm. It just seemed to me just like, do people get mad at you for doing that? Like being told, okay, now you're out of the band, but you're gonna be in the band. And then 2 years later, okay, you're out of the band, but you're back in the band. Like it was just like the revolving door.
Yeah.
Like post the first, like between like 1982 when Dio left to when he returned again, later on, a few years, 10 years later, whatever it was, it just seemed like a revolving door of like,
yeah.
And Geezer left the band, so Tony was the last guy in the band. It's just ridiculous, but yeah.
Oh, because I was reading a little bit about the arguments that led to Dio leaving when he split initially and took Vinny with him. There was like an engineer had erroneously informed him that Geezer and Tony were going in and changing, like deliberately taking his vocals down or something. That they're arguing over the mixes, basically.
Yeah, so the thing was, I think, and according to what I've read, what Dio has said, he said that the engineer was a drunk, and basically there was a miscommunication, and the engineer basically led them down that path of, because basically, like Dio and Vinny would go in at some point, I think at nighttime, and they want to listen to the recordings of all the live stuff, and they'd say, "Can you bring the vocals up a little bit, or can you bring this up a little bit?" Mm-hmm. And then the engineer would leave it there. And the next day, Tony and Geezer would come in, and they'd be like, "Why are the vocals so loud?" He's like, "Oh, Ronnie was here last night, and so then that became the rift." And it was just a huge misunderstanding, apparently, from what even Tony has said. Is like it was just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
But Ronnie had, for being a small guy, he kind of had the Napoleon thing, so his ego was obviously super huge.
Yeah. That whole thing with him refusing to play at that gig with where Ozzy was on the bill as well.
I kind of, sort of.
That's
I can't disagree with that. I mean, really? It's just like, because I mean,
do your job.
Ozzy's a fucking clown, though. He is a clown.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he is a clown.
I mean, the cool thing is that we got to have Rob Halford sing.
Yeah.
Which you did a great
job. Which apparently he did again.
He did?
So I read the story, like there was one point where they were doing, I think they were playing they were doing like every other Ozfest, with Black Sabbath. So like they would close, the Ozfest would close and it would be Ozzy. And then Black Sabbath would come out and do like a 5 or 6 song set and do like all the old stuff. Apparently one time Ozzy couldn't make it because he was sick or something like that. And Rob Halford was hanging about. And so they said, well, let's get Rob to do it. And Rob came in and sang Iron Man and Paranoid and all that shit. This is like in the 2000s at some point when the Ozfest was happening. So. Yeah,
that's cool. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I got an email yesterday from one Vinny Appice.
Nice.
Yes.
Hi, Patty. Got the sauce and the extras. Thank you very much. I'm going to try it today with some chips. Also love the teas in the coffee cup. Thanks, Vinny.
Awesome. Our boy Vinny.
Yeah. So it was very cool.
Awesome. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah. But yeah, those Black Sabbath Dio days were not my favorite in that there was it just always
Get Out.
It always felt like the lyrics were doing that Dungeon and Dragon,
he was big into that thing.
I know, I understand that now. But
have you seen the way he dresses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those I want those boots, those rainbow in the dark boots.
Yeah.
On top of the roof. Yeah. I mean, I know Barbie dolls that would kick those things off. But then later on, once you kind of acclimatize to it, I think that's the only way I can describe it is when I got to when I got to appreciate how Ronnie and Vinny worked together, and then Geezer and Vinny worked together. That's when it was kind of like, I don't give a fuck what you're singing. This is cool. You kind of just you have to build up a tolerance to the rainbow in the dark spinning cages.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
Well, they made
sure.
a joke about that too. Is like when they came back for the Dehumanizer record in the early '90s, Tony and Geese were like, "Okay, no more rainbows," and he's like,
Really?
and apparently the quote in the book was Ronnie said, "I like rainbows," and they're like, "Yeah, but let's." So the Dehumanizer record is actually, I think it's one of the most underrated Sabbath records. It's got Dio on it. It's got Vinny on it. But the songs are just like, I mean, like they have a song about, I think I've said this before, called Computer God. And it's written in 91 or 92. And it's so far ahead of its time because it's talking about like how computers rule everybody, which they do. I mean, today we're on our cell phones all the time.
Yeah. Dio wrote those lyrics?
Yeah.
Ronnie?
Yeah. So if you want to hear a really great, if you want to hear that band fire on all cylinders, there's the last live record they released was called Neon Nights, 30 Years of Heaven and Hell, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
It's them live at the
That's what you were playing.
the Wacken Festival.
Yeah.
And me and Brent were talking about this when we were going to O'Bannon's when I called him up the other day because he wants to get Vinny to try to record something for him to use in a composition. But the playing on that record is just so fucking good, and it's the last live, and it's one of their last concerts they played together too. But if we can listen to that in the car sometime. But it's just the playing on it is just so like, God damn, these guys are good.
Friday.
There we go. Anyway,
Did Geezer write any of the words when Dio was in the band? I know that he wrote a lot of words over.
He was the original lyricist for most
Ozzy.
of the catalog.
Ozzy too,
the Ozzy stuff. I think it was a shared. And on the last record, the Devil You Know record, I think all four of them, even Vinny, Vinny did write lyrics so much, but he had a hand on some of the arrangements. But definitely, I think there was a lot more collaboration on that last record.
And just a side note here, I know we go off on a lot of tangents when we're speaking of when we get into Sabbath, because it was the bedrock of so much of our musical journey, and it's still
it's the roots to everything that we listen to, really.
Yeah. So even if you don't like the hard rock, the metal and stuff, it's still worth looking up some of these YouTube videos, and seeing that, even with the tiny little bit that we've touched on these SlapperCast, it's still informative to watch any of the live videos, or it's interesting to listen to some of the interviews, just because you kind of got a backstage look at these dynamics on how these people work together. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun to watch the early Ozzy stuff where Ozzy would stand to the side of the stage because he was terrified of stage fright, I mean, just huge anxiety, and so he'd stand off the side, and Tony, who he just thought, you were just saying is soft-spoken, seems to be very soft-spoken, and he's stuck in the middle, kind of smart. They weren't a fun live act to watch. However, to listen to was just, sonically, and to see what they're playing was good. So I would say, for the people that are not fans of that, it's worth your time to have a look at some of these videos and some of these live performances, just to see how these people coexist. And
the thing that made me fall in love with them was just how groovy they are. That everything that Geezer and Tony wrote was so, very heavily riff based, obviously, but they, unlike a lot of other metal bands, they found a good riff and they stay in there.
Oh yeah.
They milk the riff for everything they could, and then but then they go off. There's no shortage of B sections and C sections and really interesting really interesting bridges and stuff like that. But that's what I really love about them, is that there's so much, especially as a bass player and a guitar player, to go in and learn how to write catchy stuff, because that's what they did.
And it's not as easy as you think. To play Iron Man, da 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 da. Yeah, fine. However, when you get into it and you get far, you immerse yourself in their catalog, you'll realize that they're not just playing and Smoke on the Water is another great, I know this, Richie Blackmore, but Smoke on the Water is not what you think it is when you hear it played. It's not it's actually playing it properly, playing it like Richie Blackmore plays it is not easy. It doesn't fall off your hand like it does. I mean, just fall onto the fretboard like you would imagine it does. You can make it sound like that. I don't play it right. I just play it to fit how the small section that we use.
Yeah.
So I make it real easy just to get, so we can get back. But same thing with Sabbath. We're talking to our friend June Nania up in Omaha, and Narnia, excuse me. She was saying that we're talking about Children of the Grave, and she said, it's not as easy as you think. I go, I know. It's not a, it's not a,
It's, yeah.
There's so much
There's
more
some
to
complex
it.
stuff in there, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just great to...
Yeah.
I found myself too, like as Tony was talking, as I was reading the book and Tony was talking about different records and different songs, I found myself pulling up stuff on the phone to listen to it. And just, some of those riffs are just so iconic and just, that's that riff kind of a thing, And he even makes a joke about how, because, it like everybody calls Tony the king of the riffs because he was the one guy in metal that would just like, oh, you need a riff? Oh, give me a second. And you come up with like just like the crunchiest, grungiest, like just like kind of riff. And he makes a joke about it. He's like, maybe I should just put out an album of just riffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Well, Vinny Appice also said to us on our interview with him, he said, yeah, you can play a chord. He said, but when Tony plays it, it doesn't sound like anybody else.
Exactly.
It sounds like Tony playing it. And somebody, our friend Tim was saying, well, he's got those metal tips on his fingers. Yeah, it's got something to do with it, but and the playing, your sound is here. It's here. It's not of course your amps play a part of it and your guitar plays a part of it, but everything that you're hearing, when you hear Mark Knopfler playing, a riff, it doesn't sound like anybody else because he plays and he delivers like Mark Knopfler. Mm-hmm. And, and I've seen guys that play very close to him and play very well, but it's not the same. Right. And you can't, it's not Coke or Pepsi. This is a worlds apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two songs that leap to mind as being two of Tony's greatest riffs that are maybe slightly underrated in the broad, the whole spectrum of Black Sabbath stuff. What's it called? Supernaut.
Yeah, I was just gonna. Yeah, that's what I.
Which starts off, and one of the things I love about it starts off just like Derek Doom by Horselips. The hi hat.
Yeah.
And you for the beginning, you'd be like, "Wait, is this Black Sabbath or is this Horselips?" And Derek Doom, which is also a really great riff-based song. But I love that one, and then the other one is After Forever, which is lyrically is kind of weird. It's where Geezer was going through one of his religious things or something. Mm-hmm. Your God is the only way to live or something like that. But that riff is so great. You know that one?
I don't think another one.
Yeah, I don't even know what I got it because it's on a compilation that I bought. It's catchy, but it also seems kind of strange that it just didn't sound like a riff that's a normal person would write.
Right.
And then the lyrics are just really, and it goes back and forth between that and another section, which sounds like it has absolutely nothing to do with the other part, but they're both really catchy.
Yeah. I'll check it out.
Trippy. Yeah. It's a really, really,
we played it in the van a few times. Yeah. It's been, yeah.
It's kind of psychedelic. They're singing about God in it, which is strange enough to hear Black Sabbath singing a slightly religious song, but it starts off kind of sounds like it's kind of trippy.
Anyway, the book is Iron Man, written by Tony Iommi and someone else, and he's just telling stories. It's well done. Like I said, every chapter is 2 to 6 pages long at the most. It's not long chapters, and it's just kind of like, I was a baby, here's my family, and now I just made it through cancer treatment, kind of a thing. So,
yeah.
2011, I think, is the last update on the book. So
yeah. As I mentioned too, I like the cover on it, where he's got the purple shades.
Always wears those little shades.
And then the logo is the same color as the shades.
It's that Master Reality purple.
Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. Very tasty.
It's good stuff.
Well,
gentlemen, that was a good length show.
Yeah. So, we've spoken many times now about reward music. It's lifting off. It's been slower rollout, but you've had some updates on it. And
and there's still it's a beast in progress.
Yeah, it's just like everything. It takes more time than we initially thought it would. But with the climate being as it is, so what happened was at the beginning of March, I forget his name, Twatty McDickface or something, was opened up the state and said you don't have to wear a mask, you do whatever you want, and blah blah blah, be free. Bad news is people took it as do whatever you want, be free, go go go. The good news was that the calendar opened up and went crazy. So March has been an absolute whirlwind, tornado, hurricane, tsunami of bookings and nonstop inquiries. And so that's what we're doing today. We're here in person because we're putting together tours for the year. We're going to try to flush this calendar out and have it, so we're in person, caffeinating in person to build this calendar up, and we're gonna go out quite a few times this year to we're hoping to get as far up as Montana and stuff like that in August, and then as far up as Maine and East Coast, and so we're planning on covering a lot of ground. That's what we're doing today, and so stuff that should have been done months ago is now just we're now actually being able to find where it is and get move it on out. Yeah. So do look for us, stay in touch with us and just keep an eye on the stuff and on the calendars and whatnot, because we're going to be adding dates and they're going to be coming in quickly. So and again, just a special thanks to Laurie and Chris for getting all that stuff done for us, and especially big thanks to all our Patreon folks. You guys have been tremendous. So
you're just in time to say goodbye.
Hello.
You say goodbye, and I say
sorry about that, fellas.
Yeah, so I was talking about the tour and getting our tours planned out for the year now.
Yes, excited to see where we're going to go and see friends, make new friends, see old friends, and hopefully everywhere we want to go is going to be open.
Yeah. And again, really quickly about Reward Music, the way it works, it's a monthly subscription, just like Patreon. However, to sign up and interact and talk to people on there, you don't have to. You can just sign up and join the site for free if you want. But there's a lot of content that you'll be able to get if you subscribe. We call the subscription there Blaggartron, which was a name we've been throwing around this whole time. $5 a month, and right now that allows you to stream or download our entire catalog that we have up there, which is something that's going to be growing over time. There's even more stuff we have that I haven't put up there yet. Maybe some old archival. Historical live tracks, things like that.
Hysterical live tracks.
And of course we record pretty much every show we play as long as we're using our board. And so some of those live tracks may find their way on there. So there's eventually going to be a massive library that we'll be building. Exactly the kind of thing I wanted to do with Patreon originally, but it just works a lot better in reward music.
Patreon is confining. This is open.
Yeah.
This is open range, free range.
Yeah. And it really thrives off of people, the community aspect of it. So.
Yeah. Built by musicians.
Yes.
Built by, and so was Patreon, but this is again, with Dweezil Zappa, you know that you have a bigger palate. You have it's actually feels like it's boundless.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like they're touching him. So we'll find out. You can find out with us. Come along and
Fuck is going on out there?
Is this like the noisiest show you've
I know.
ever had?
Hey, make sure they don't fucking record today. So anyway, thanks for listening.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, real quick.
Yes.
Uber fan, super fan, Mark Stickney from over in San Antonio. Used to come see you guys play
Yes.
at O'Bannon's. Mark, I teach his daughter, Caitlin, drum lessons, and she told me on Tuesday in her lesson that they had a new baby named Noah. So congrats to Mark and family and baby Noah. Yeah.
Hi, Noah.
Actually, hi, Noah.
Nice to know you.
Hey. So
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
anyway, thanks to Mark and Nicole for paying me every week, and also congrats on the baby. So
Fantastic. Welcome.
Awesome.
well, we know the phone sucks, so it's got to be they're going to invest all that money in new cameras every time they put out a new one.
Right.
They should just call it iCamera now with phone. Anyway, thanks, folks.
All right.